The cell. Definition. A cell is the basic structural and functional unit of any living organism. They're called the building blocks of life because they can live independently and they can perform all life processes. The discovery of a cell. Anton van Leeuwenhoek developed the first simple microscope, and he used only one lens, and with this he saw single-celled organisms in water. Robert Hooke used two lenses and he developed a compound microscope, and he coined the term cell from the word cellular, which means small compartment. After seeing bark cells under his microscope, it is the basic unit of life. Why is that? Because it is the basic structural and functional unit of any living organism. It has an independent existence. It performs all essential functions, and all organisms have to start with a single cell, and then it multiplies and becomes the organism. All cells have a lifespan. They die and they're replaced by new ones. Many cells form a tissue, many tissues form an organ. The shape of cells. It could be irregular, like in an amoeba. It could be oval, like in Chlamydomonas. It can be oblong, like in Paramecium. It can be elongated, like in a muscle cell. It could be thread-like in a nerve cell. The size of cells. Size is very small. You can't see a cell with your naked eye. You need a microscope to see the cell. And it is measured in micrometers or in microns. 1 micron is 1/1000th of a millimeter. The cell size is usually 3 to 30 microns. The smallest cells in humans is the red blood cells. The nerve cell of an elephant can be as long as 3 meters. A hen's egg is 6 centimeters, an ostrich egg is 23 centimeters. Unicellular organisms. These organisms are entirely only one cell, like amoeba, Paramecium, and Chlamydomonas. Cell structure. An animal cell and a plant cell can be compared in these ways. Both of them have to have a cell membrane, which is the outer membrane that encloses the cytoplasm. The plant cell, if you notice, has a lining outside that as well, and that is called the cell wall. So do you have a cell wall? No, animals and humans don't have cell walls. It's the plants that have the cell walls. Cell membranes are present in both. Both would have nucleus inside, and then you would have small organelles. The cell wall. The cell wall is non-living. It is only in plants. It is freely permeable to substances. What does that mean? That means substances can freely move through it. It's like you don't need a visa. You have free entry into another country. Permeable. The cell wall is made of cellulose. The cellulose doesn't get easily digested in humans, and therefore plants form roughage because it adds to the bulk of the stool and you don't get constipation. So it's important for all of us to consume plants. The cell wall gives a definite shape to the cell, and it provides strength and rigidity to the cell. The cell membrane. The cell membrane is under the cell wall. It's also called the plasma membrane. It's selectively permeable, so it will not allow everybody to enter. It will just allow certain substances to enter. Okay, like we give visa only to certain people. We don't give visa to others. It is elastic and allows the cell to stretch. The cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is a jelly-like transparent substance enclosed by the cell membrane. And this has organelles that perform most of the functions in the cell. The nucleus is the control center of the cell. It's the main office, the central office. Okay? It's round or oval and has a double membrane called the nuclear membrane around it. Just like the cell has a cell membrane, this has a nuclear membrane. The fluid inside is called the nucleoplasm. Just like inside the cell it's called cytoplasm, inside the nucleus it's called nucleoplasm. This has a tiny little spheroid substance called a nucleolus, and it controls all the activities of the cell and carries agents of heredity called genes and plays an important role in cell division. Organelles. Now these are important. They might give you the picture of the organelle and say, describe the organelle, tell me its function. So, mitochondria. The mitochondrion has two membranes and the inner membrane is folded into cristae. Now this is where the oxidation of food substances happens. So respiration happens here. Food is oxidized and ATP is the substance that is contained, that's the energy substance called ATP, which is released, and therefore it is called the powerhouse of the cell. Endoplasmic reticulum. It is a network of flattened sacs, and the outer membrane of the nucleus is directly in connection with the endoplasmic reticulum. And it's a pathway for transport of material inside and between cells. The ribosomes, they are small and they are round and they don't have a membrane. They are sometimes attached to the endoplasmic reticulum and sometimes they are free. That's why the endoplasmic reticulum could be rough. When you look at it, it looks very rough. You know why? Because there's little ribosomes sitting on it. Otherwise, it can be called smooth endoplasmic reticulum, but it doesn't have ribosomes attached to it. Now, what do these ribosomes do? They are the kitchen of the cell and they make the protein. So they're protein factories of the cell. The Golgi bodies. These are like discs that are attached one on top of the other, stacked one on top of the other. They're also called dictyosomes. They're flat and disc-like, and they secrete substances to help make the cell wall. And they also help in transportation. Lysosomes. These are sac-like single membrane organelles, and it contains digestive enzymes. Now, these enzymes digest the food inside the cell and they break it down to smaller substances, like starch is broken down, bigger molecules are broken down to smaller molecules, okay? And it protects from foreign bodies, to digest any foreign body also coming to it. They are also called the suicide bags of the cell because when the life of the cell is over, it's the lysosome enzymes that digest the cell up. Centromere. Centromere is present only in animal cells and is close to the nucleus. It has centrioles in it, and this helps in the cell division. Plastids are present only in plant cells. There are three types. Chromoplasts that have different colors other than green, and that's the thing that's present in flowers, in green, in yellow capsicum, red capsicum, anything that gives color, beautiful colors to the plant parts would have chromoplasts in it. So it makes and stores pigments, that's its job. Chloroplasts have chlorophyll, so anything with green will have chloroplasts in it. And leucoplasts are colorless, and these will be present in roots and underground stems like potato. Vacuoles. These are sacs that contain cell sap and they're bound by a single membrane called the tonoplast. Plants have large vacuoles while animals would have only small vacuoles. So it would contain sugar, protein, amino acids, minerals, and keeps the cells turgid and maintains the shape of the cell as well because it becomes stiff with it, and it stores food and water. Let's see the differences between plant cells and animal cells. Cell wall is present in plant cell but not in animal cells. Plastids are present in plant cells but not in animal cells. Centromeres are absent in plant cells, present in animal cells. Lysosomes are absent in plant cells, lysosomes are present in animal cells. Vacuoles are large in plant cells, and animal cells they could be absent or very, very small. The differences between cell wall and cell membrane. First of all, the location. Cell wall is outermost and it's a thick protective layer of the cell. It's only in plant cells, and bacterial cells can have it. But cell wall is non-living, while the cell membrane is living. And cell wall is freely permeable, cell membrane is selectively permeable. Cell division. The process by which new cells are formed is called cell division. The new cells are called daughter cells. Skin cells keep dividing and getting replaced regularly. Every minute, 2 million red blood cells die and they are replaced in the body. Nerve cells are never replaced when they die.